Shut the fuck up, bitch. Now, these are some of my own. These are men within my own community. And believe it or not, colonization and the patriarchy have done a fucking number on minority people. Being racist towards your own people.
So let's address those three things right there: colonialism, the patriarchy, and being racist towards our own people. So all we said on that clip, we broke this down earlier, right? Jordan was just explaining his preference of his experience of why he chose of his experience dealing with Polynesian women, and why he chose to date a white woman.
Yeah,
that's all he said on that video.
Yeah.
Right, but for some reason, for her to watch that video, she got colonialism, she got patriarchy, and she got racism just from that one video that we just watched and we showed earlier. Okay. Do you think that's a fair assessment?
Okay. I think as I introduced myself to Jordan, right? Or when I understood that Jordan's mom is white.
Yeah.
He's Italian. And I also understood that Jordan actually, in a big sense, doesn't even identify white people as having a culture, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in that sense, him being half white actually is just him being attracted to somebody that sets his mother figure.
Yeah.
Right. And that's just off of observing and hearing what he's saying to us as a group. But you won't be able to capture that unless you actually watch the podcast.
Yeah. Okay. So, oh yeah, that's true. And also he tried to date Polynesian women.
Correct. And that was also another thing that I also heard in his testimony.
Yeah.
It's weird. I'm saying testimony. Yeah. In his testimony.
You freaking Mormon.
I'm not. But in his testimony, this is what I did hear.
Yeah.
I heard that Jordan essentially could not find an island woman that was actually attracted to him that way.
Yeah.
And he always had issues with getting women, Polynesian in specific, to be attracted to him in that type of way. And I believe it was the forbidden fruit, right? It's actually the feeling of being wanted. So most Polynesian women that he had encounters with didn't actually want him that way.
Well, he explained specifically that he wanted something soft and he wanted something more feminine. That's what, that's what.
Well, that too. But at the end of the day, essentially, that's also what I heard. He did say that.
Yeah.
But he also said this, which implies at the very end, he also said that he encourages his boys to find Polynesian women.
Exactly.
Because he wants to keep it in the bloodline.
In the bloodline.
Essentially, what this man is actually saying, poly ladies, is that he was unable to find a poly lady to make him feel like he was masculine enough to even have a relationship with her.
But this is if you look at the comments,
which
right?
is it's
look at the comments. Look, what did they say? Sounds like. There's a difference between sounds like and what he said. So what he said sounds like to whatever bias or narrative or hatred you have towards him.
Right.
That's why I tell people all the time, take away your emotions. Take away your emotions and then objectively just look at what was said. Because this is what I hear on the comments. Sounds like he hates Polynesian women.
Well, that's what I was going off of what he had told us as a group.
Yeah.
And what he had told us as a group, I was like, man, I can't even tell you that you didn't go through that because obviously you did. You wouldn't be saying this in an emotion, and I pick up off of emotions and cues of facial cues and stuff. This is really what you went through.
Yeah.
And to even want to have your actual, he only has boys to intertwine with Polynesian women, that shows that it's because at the point in time right now, you could not find a Polynesian woman that could make you feel like the forbidden fruit.
Yeah. So
He said forbidden fruit. What he said I wanted to crack up laughing, but I didn't want to do it because I was like, that would look too weird.
okay.
I was like,
so like you said, she said colonialism. I just don't understand. I'm just being very honest right now. I don't understand how Drew AFUALO got colonialism and racism, right? There's nothing he said on this clip, on this video, that was racist towards Polynesian women. But I do agree with a lot of Polynesian women, like they just don't like it when Polynesian men talk about dating white women over Polynesian women. I know that's something that Polynesian women have a hard time hearing. And like that's all he said on this clip. He just said, look, my experience with Polynesian women was very masculine, very combative. I chose to go with a white woman. And that was it. It's not like he said that he did not say the white woman was better, was better than Polynesian women. It's just he preferred that based on the experience, he wanted something more feminine, something more soft, and he found it in the white woman, and he chose to go with the white woman.
Can I also say this though?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I just feel like
Tweet.
I don't even feel. I just know that that's actually what was said. But as Polynesian women, right? There has to be a certain confidence here.
Yeah.
There just has to be, because we are not honestly in a category where we should not ever be confident. In hearing this type of hearing this from this type of person and feeling some type of way, because I didn't.
Yeah.
And I was sitting right there. I know I did it. I was like, okay.
The problem was that he chose the white woman. That was the problem.
And the truth is like, how does that even implement anything?
Because anytime anything that has to do with white people, we're always going to associate back to our history of colonization.
But we should, at the end of the day, this is the truth, and I think we've all understood this in a sense. We are not even in a position to even talk about that if we're not capable to understand that we are an oppressed people. So let's not bring that up unless we're trying to bring up the fact that we're oppressed. Okay. So we ain't even we're not even a part of A and B, and we're gonna go to C and D.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't. Because now it doesn't make sense. But what I can also say is I have no problems with sitting in front of Polynesian men and hearing that. Why? Because I understand my positionality.
Yeah.
Right. I understand that I'm part of an oppressed minority group, but I also understand the limited population that we come from in terms of beauty makes it that much more beautiful.
Yeah.
And so if you can't, as Polynesian women, we can't actually see that, like our backlash towards this is implementing that.
Yeah.
We have to see that. If you really watch this actual podcast, like there's a sadness that this man actually feels because he had dated Polynesian women and actually couldn't.
Didn't he say he would prefer to be with a Polynesian woman?
Yes.
It's just he couldn't find one that was soft and feminine.
He just it wasn't for him.
Yeah, it wasn't for him.
It didn't give him the gratification that he needed. And the truth is like, as Polynesian women, I mean, what could I say there? What could I say about that?
And he also said that he was half Akasi, so a lot of times the Polynesian women will always see him as half. And
there was in my mind, like I know there are a lot of Polynesian women that are not a half Kasi, but that like men that are half white and half, but I'm Tongan.
Yeah.
And I don't know a lot of Samoans, so I don't know what happens in that particular community. So I need to rephrase that,
So going back to the video, she talked about racism, colonialism, and what was a patriarchy. I don't know. Well, I can understand colonialism because I know for a lot of Pacific Islanders, every single time we associate ourselves with white people, a lot of times, you want to be white, or you with the colonizer mindset. You're betraying own people. So I get that, but I don't get the patriarchy. How the hell did you get the patriarchy and racism. I just don't understand that. So I would have to disagree with, but that's my issue with Drew is because she has such a big platform. A lot of the things she shares impacts millions of young girls' minds, and I would say that I'm sure she has some good content, but on this specific content, I think this is very toxic of what she's trying to the message she's giving out to the women who follow her based on this clip. But we'll keep playing.
In your community and using them as a fucking step stool to uplift white women and white supremacy.
And white supremacy. Oh my! So we're using Polynesian women as a stepping stone to uplift Polynesian white women and white supremacy. White supremacy? Are you serious? From that clip, that's where you got white supremacy from that clip because he talked about his preferences and dating experiences with Polynesian women and decided to go with.
I will tell you right now, there are a lot of people in the
Sheesh.
there's a lot of people in the African American community that would find this.
No, I know. I get the African.
They would find this very
I understand
offending.
I understand the African Americans, but we're talking about our people.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Even hearing this, they would find this offensive.
Yeah.
Why? Because we have not, as a people, gone through anything that they have gone through.
Exactly.
Anything.
Yeah.
And I could never, ever identify myself.
We didn't go through slavery.
As an African American person.
Yeah.
Never.
So we're going to talk about white supremacy when our people has never gone through any kind of enslavement.
We are the exception. Exactly.
But why? That's what I'm saying. Why is she bringing white supremacy? But that's how I know a lot of the ideologies, especially at Drew AFUALO and a lot of people, these are ideologies they got from somebody else.
Yeah.
They did not do the research on their own to figure out and form their own opinions. Right. They just, I promise you, she heard white supremacy from somebody else.
I know a lot of the Black community right now that would ever hear this would feel some type of way with the language that was pronounced here.
Yeah. But let's keep watching.
Is not something that's exclusive to the Samoan community. So if you really think about it, they're insulting Polynesian women and they're insulting white women because they're masculinizing Polynesian women who don't put up with their fucking bullshit. And given the fact that I can smell the gingivitis coming from that fucking room, it doesn't surprise me that they have a problem dating Polynesian women. And at the same time, they're uplifting white women in the sense that they're saying white women are easier to control. That's why they just prefer to date them. And they're
easier to control. Where'd you get? All he said was he wanted something soft and feminine. How did that go from soft and feminine to easy and control? But that's I told you before. That's that feminist mindset ideology. Any single time a man talks about his preferences towards a woman, that I want a woman that's submissive and I want a woman that's caring and nurturing and I want a woman that's soft. For a lot of the feminist ideology, they're saying, see, that type of man.
I think he used combative.
Well, he said that his experience with Polynesian women were combative, and he wanted something soft. So what she's saying is the reason why he wants something soft is because he could control white women, and then he was giving a lot of Polynesian women shit, and the Polynesian women wasn't accepting his bullshit. And then so he decided to go with the white women because they were easier to control because he couldn't control the Polynesian women.
In some senses, here's the thing. I don't know a Jordan to a point where I can navigate his relationships with whatever relationships he had, with whatever women he had.
Yeah.
Right. But what I can say is this. As far as this and that goes, his mother was white.
That's true.
And at the end of the day, if there is a certain type of behavior, right, that's implemented in a man's life when it comes to women and feminism, right? The mother of that child is always going to be the influence of what that child believes is in a feminine nature.
Yeah.
Okay. And so that is what I can say on a logical aspect. And as far as, this and that about white women, I think what she's saying is that he's implementing that white women are softer and Polynesian women are not. And that's not right and not true.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of white women that I know that are like hockey players.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that are like, you know, like to play even rugby, you know? So to actually implement that white women have a stereotype of being soft in itself is incredibly crazy.
Yeah.
But also, like I said, with Jordan, it's a situation where I'll say it again, he was unable to find a Polynesian woman
Yeah.
that was able to actually want him in a way where he felt wanted.
Mm.
And that's really what this man is actually saying.
Exactly.
If you really listen
Yeah.
to it.
All right. Okay. So yeah. So I disagree with what Drew AFUALO said. He on that video he wasn't masculinizing all Polynesian women, and he did not say that just because if you don't understand intersexual dynamics between men and women, masculinity seeks femininity, femininity seeks masculinity. When a masculine man says, "I want a soft, nurturing, caring woman," does that mean that he wants to control her? No, that is our natural biological attraction
No,
of the opposite sex.
it means he wants to feel wanted.
Exactly, but I'm just saying is there is a biological reason to why we seek certain traits from each other. There's a reason why femininity is attracted to masculinity and masculinity is attracted to femininity because our traits complement each other. That's a fact.
Yeah.
All right. So when a man says, "I want a nurturing, caring, soft woman," that's just our natural biology as a man of being masculine, attracted to feminine. But what she's saying is, oh, he chose the white woman because she was more easier to control, and that is not true. That's not what he said.
Well, not even that.
But that makes him look like a toxic man.
Right. But not even that, but it also is like the implementation that we are experiencing what African Americans communities in the US experience. We should never ever put ourselves in that place as a people. Why?
Yeah.
Because we have never experienced the type of racism and oppression that
Yeah.
African American
Yeah.
has actually felt
Yeah.
in the US. And to anybody that's a scholar, anybody that has education, anybody in the field, they would find this very, if not detrimental, you are being, this would just be a insult.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just saying. So I disagree with Drew on that one, and I think she's absolutely wrong. She doesn't know what she's talking about right now. Okay.
Having a laugh and a kiki about how they don't need Polynesian women because they have white ones. That's so funny you say that because the main host of this podcast, Will Nacouzi, you didn't really seem to feel that way about Polynesian women when you DM'd me asking me for a fucking favor, did you? In fact...
Okay. I gotta address this. I have to address this. June 14, 2021. So June 14, 2021, I had this thing on Snapchat. It was called Polyscope. So on Polyscope, I invited Polynesians to take over a Snapchat account where they get a chance to show their lives in a 24-hour sequence on Snapchat. And I reached out to her to see if she wanted to be part of that Polyscope on Snapchat. So that's all there is. So yeah, I did reach out to her. So I'm gonna own up to that. But like I said, I like how she uses that to make it seem like that I'm shitting on Polynesian people, but at the same time, behind closed doors, I'm trying to write things that send a message. I want to uplift and people in our community, and then she took advantage of this screenshot. But hey, I'm not mad at her. Hey, this is what social media content creators do. But yeah, like I told you guys before, a lot of people may seem like this podcast that we're bashing against our own people, but there's like I told you guys before, there's a difference between bashing and criticizing, especially if it's true. All right, just because we're criticizing, just because we have we criticizing somebody or for a certain behavior that you know for a fact that's not beneficial for that individual or for the whole community, does not mean that we don't want to uplift our people.
Yeah.
So there's a difference. But anyways, hey, I give her props for doing this.
Right.
I was like, damn it, I should have went back and unsent that message. But it is what it is. You know, it is what it is. But
Your favor is literally asking me to uplift the Polynesian community.
it wasn't a favor. I just asked if you wanted to be part of it. You had a chance to say yes or no. Let's. I like the words. I like the words that she uses to make it seem like that was like begging her. No, I sent you a message. Hey, you want to do this? You want to be part of this? Obviously, you didn't respond to it, so obviously you didn't want to be part of it, which is okay.
Right.
But yeah, I wasn't begging for any favor. It was just an opportunity I asked, like everybody else.
Community. You would love to feature me, my page, my content, my positive vibe. Nothing about my page is positive for a fucking misogynist. Come on, Leia. You want me to uplift our Samoan community when you're actively racist towards them. Yeah, you can set
Misogyny and racism. So I'm a misogynist and I'm a racist. Okay. But I'm telling you, so the one thing I would challenge Drew AFUALO, there's a lot of content on her page where she's constantly bashing on men. Like she's telling, oh, look at this short ass fat guy. I've seen multiple videos of her bashing men and making fun of their attribute, their physical looks, or their height. So I know for a fact, for me, for once, I've never made fun of how Polynesian women looked, or like our size or our height or how our natural biological of what we look for. But I know she does this on her platform, which is one of the things I dislike about her content. But yeah, that's one thing. Like, look, I may criticize certain things about people, but one thing about people know about me on this platform, I don't attack people personally. All right. If I disagree with you, it's always a disagreement with ideology. I will say I disagree with what you said. I disagree with the data you presented. I disagree with this. About never.
Well, I have an idea.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I had an idea. I feel like you should actually see if Drew would go on a Zoom call with you and you guys can talk this out.
Oh, no, she won't.
Maybe not. But if she would actually be willing to do that, that would be great.
I would say this right now. I would love to do a podcast with Drew. She's open to come down to San Francisco and we can have a conversation right here. But if I know
even on Zoom, just like getting her, because the thing is like we don't want to exclude people's feelings. We don't want to exclude how they thought this skip it, right? And it's a skip it, right? Was portrayed, right? But we don't want to do that. But we also want to.
The thing is, when people say I'm a misogynist, if I'm a misogynist, that means number one, I know for a fact they don't know the definition of misogyny. The definition of misogyny is your contempt towards women. You hate women. If I hated women, would I be having a conversation with Monica right now? Exactly. If I hated women, then I wouldn't have any women on my channel. I wouldn't have any women on my platform at all. So that defeats the purpose. It's just a lot of times that the misogyny word is a buzzword. A lot of women use today when they dislike something a man says. If you disagree with something a man says, the best way to shame him, to shut him up, is to use the word misogyny.
So what is your aspect about women? Would you say that your podcast, what you're trying to do is you're trying to uplift women, to have them live a life that is happy and meaningful in a relationship, because you're trying to provide them information that can maybe give them the ability to gain or attain a good man?
No, because I have a dating and relationship podcast where we talk about both men and women. All right. And we criticize both men and women. We criticizing the men, but there's certain behaviors today in modern society that is normalized with women. Number one is promiscuity. I criticize that a lot when it comes to women. I say promiscuity will destroy women. Promiscuity, it doesn't help you find a meaningful relationship. But today, telling a woman that she can't sleep around, that's a form of misogyny. telling women, say, hey, be selective in who you choose. Don't go out there and choose random men who have no interest in your long-term health.
What is misogyny? What is the definition of that?
Contempt towards women. You hate women.
Oh, okay. So you don't hate women. You
No,
don't.
Of course not.
Yeah.
Because if I did, you wouldn't be here today at all.
Yeah.
Because you are a woman.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay, so essentially you don't hate women, but it feels like you do because you're telling them.
Because I criticize, like I told you guys before, there's certain things I criticize, certain things I don't believe in. All right.
Okay.
And promise. So when I tell a woman, don't be a hoe, don't be promiscuous, don't go out there acting like sluts or dressing like a slut.
What do you think allows women to be promiscuous?
Coming from a single mother household.
Okay.
When there's no strong male figure in their life to guide her and direct her, and to have a strong, they go seek that out at a very early age with other men.
But what if I told you that there's a higher percentage in women that are promiscuous that actually have a father?
You're saying majority of women who are promiscuous have a dad?
As far as a 2022 to 2024 study. Nationally.
I got let me see that study.
I mean, that wouldn't be a problem. You already know it's always CDC.
Yeah, the limit.
But actually,
I gotta see how the study was conducted.
Absolutely, but I don't. And here's the thing: I don't, and I get it. I think that there's an understanding to it because that's really how males think. I understand that.
Yeah.
That I'm not ever going to argue against that because
I'm not, I'm not disagreeing to the fact that I'm not saying just because you have a dad, you're not gonna be promiscuous. I will have to look at that study just to confirm what the study was about. But I do understand that when you remove the father from the household, there's a high probability that she's gonna have sex at an early age because of the lack of the male father figure in her house, in her life.
But I only say that, Will, right? Because what is the divorce rate that you know about the U.S.?
It's high.
What's the percentage that you know?
It's like 50.
It's over 50, correct?
Yeah.
So if it's over 50, where do you think those kids navigate to? The male or the female?
The women get most of the kids to custody.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that would mean that a high percentage of women are actually raised by single mothers.
Yeah.
Right? And so you have a lower percentage of women who aren't. Right? Mm-hmm. So the study would be conducted on both of those panels. The higher rate of women that subjected to a single mother household, and a lower percent of women that are subjected to a lower percent of households, right? And then we want to conduct a study, right, about promiscuity, right? Essentially, the study would be correlational study. A study would be more based off of like getting it from hospital factors, and which are local county hospital factors, right? Which local hospital county factors are county factors that are from low income communities, which is the majority population rate. The majority population rate means that it's under the 1 or 10%. So essentially, that percentage is going to be calculated. And in that calculation, based on the fact that there's a higher percentage of females being raised in a one household, right, parent with a higher rate. And do you know the higher percentage of the women that actually take full custody of those children?
Do I know the what?
Like there's a percentage rate of women
it's like
that
80%.
Are single, right? 80%, yeah. Right? And in that percentage, right, we all both know that women, in a sense, right, there's a higher percentage of population of women in the U.S., right? Not even globally. We're not going to talk about globally. We'll just talk about U.S. So there's a higher percentage of women. There's a higher percentage of one-parent households, right? Mm-hmm. So in that case, that means that most of the women are parentals to most women that are in the U.S. that are kids or under adolescence, right? Under
Mhm.
18. So essentially, what we're saying is we're left with a lower percentage of kids that are raised in two-parent households that that have to adjust, right,
Yeah.
to society, right?
Okay.
And so what I'm saying is the fact that there is studies that are proven that this percentage it has higher issues when it comes to what you're talking about, promiscuity, in comparison to the higher percentage is incredibly crazy, right?
Mhm.
I would say it was crazy. But we would have to wonder why it was so crazy. Why is that so crazy? Right?
Yeah.
Why
Do you believe promiscuity is good or bad?
do I believe that promiscuity is good or bad? My goodness. I can only say that promiscuity is a one mental health challenge, right? Because essentially if you're too promiscuous, you can get diseases without even caring. And you know the diseases that are out there, right? For the most of us, a good 88% of us understand that you can get an STD or an actual life terminal disease
Yeah.
from being promiscuous.
I mean,
But
yeah.
at the end of the day, right, when it comes to who we are as individuals, I think the question that we're asking, that we should be asking people, is how do you love?
No,
How do you love? Like, is your love language, for instance, like,
no,
are you
like
demisexual? Are you, do you have like sapiosexual? What do you view
No.
sexual impact as?
the question I always ask, like, do you think that promiscuity is morally wrong?
Promiscuity is morally wrong. You will never get arrested for it, Will. And that's the truth. You'll
No,
never
yeah.
get
I'm just saying there's
prostitution
a lot.
has been the ultimate type of work for years.
No, I understand that, but I'm just saying there's a lot of things that's morally wrong or it's still legal. But I'm just saying it's like, do you think that promiscuity is morally wrong?
No, it serves nobody.
That's my point of view.
It serves nobody.
Yeah, so that's my criticism for a lot of women. That's one of them, and that's why
like men and women.
I don't believe men should be promiscuous either.
Yeah.
Because most men, the most.
I'm sorry that I took you the whole, but I
No,
guess
yeah. So I mean, statistically, the best way for a child to grow up is in a two-parent household.
absolutely.
All right.
It would be
When
a
the, when
beautiful idea.
and in a monogamous relationship where they're both
course.
committed to each other to show them a great example of what a real loving relationship is.
Right.
I don't believe men should be promiscuous. I don't believe women should be promiscuous. But for some reason, if I talk about if I talk about males not being promiscuous, I don't really get a lot of backlash. But if I talk about women being promiscuous, all of a sudden I get a lot of backlash. So, and then I get the misogyny label. You hate women. You're trying to tell us and control us on what to do.
Right.
I'm not trying to control what you do. I'm just saying is your promiscuous behavior right now is the reason, probably one of the reasons why you're attracting certain things in your life right now.
Oh man.
So, but
oh man, it's not even. It's also on a scientific basis, and maybe we'll catch that basis later. And I feel like I never want to pretend. I never want to feel like our community is in that situation.
Yeah.
Where we have to talk about that.
all right.
I'd rather not talk about that.
No, yeah, but I'm just saying that's one of the things I talk about all the time with women, especially today where promiscuity, and you don't know this, it's normalized now. You know, we all have OnlyFans, we have porn, we have sex industry. You know, there's more OnlyFans right now. There are more there are more women on OnlyFans today than teachers. That's a fact. So we have more women going to OnlyFans than deciding to teach the next generation of our society. So
I'm all like giving you like a eye look, and I'm like, I should know this, and I actually do, but I don't want to believe it.
Okay,
this is the truth. I don't.
But anyways, well, let's just finish this video because I think we're past the time.
My dick. How about next time, instead of dragging your own people and at the same time secretly DMing me to help you, you fucking choke instead. And also,
I didn't secretly DM you. I just DM'd you like normally, like everybody else.
Terrible.
Secret. Like I said, I admire her for the words that she uses to spin this narrative to make me look bad. That's one thing I admire about her because she understands content creation and she understands her toxic followers. They feed into that shit. But no, I DM'd you normally like everybody else when you DM him. There was no secret. So
Has your mom seen this video? You should show it to her and ask her what she thinks. And that should be easy because you probably all still live with her. Guy. Bye.
yep.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh wow.
I'm telling you, if I had a podcast with Drew, I would eviscerate Drew on a debate where I can challenge every single point of view that she has. I would destroy her on a public debate. So I wouldn't, like I said, Drew, please, if you want to do this, if you want to have an open platform and conversation where we can challenge each other's views and dialogues, and Drew, you can't use personal attacks, all right? If you you can't, because that's all she has on her platform. When she like, fuck you, bitch, I guy, I don't know what that is, and that's that was shit like that, right? And look at that, like she's putting the finger right now. Is that something? She has a lot of young women on who follow her. Is that example a great example? Look, as controversial my view, look, as a lot of people may say, as controversial my views are, but I don't resort to that type of behavior. Like, do this, even towards my haters. I get a lot of hate. I get a lot of hate from a lot of people about my podcast, but I treat everybody the same. I don't lose control and try to say fuck you, fuck all this, fuck f this, off all this, and flip this. But I understand. That's Drew is a woman, and it's a biological fact that women can get a little emotional sometimes and lose control. But as masculine men, the one of the things we always talk about on our masculine podcast is self-control and discipline. All right, just stay with logic and stay with use logic and use rationality. So, but I promise you, if all the Drew supporters right now on the live chat, if you're big fans of Drew, send this clip right now to Drew, because if she gets on the podcast with me and we have an open debate and we can't personally attack each other, we have to attack our ideas and our ideologies. I would eviscerate Drew, and
I think it's a good time to make it happen and to have that conversation with her, because at the end of the day, what else can I think it's a great conversation.
Yeah, I would love that conversation.
I'm not ever going to be biased about anything. I think having conversations and feeling out each other's ideas and stuff is a great thing.
And we can have a moderator. That's fine. We can control the flow of the conversation. We get a chance to speak.
Yeah.
But I promise you, I would destroy her. I know, because like I said, I know
we don't want to destroy, but I get it.
No, I will destroy her.
Just have the conversation.
No, I will every single ideology and things that she says, I know how to respond, because I've actually looked into it. I know for a fact she probably doesn't do a lot of research on certain things she talks about. I mean, she just mentioned white supremacy, colonialism, misogyny. These are all things just based on that one clip. Mm-hmm. But anyways, yeah, if all those Drew supporters on this live chat, send her that clip. Anytime you're in San Francisco, you can come down to the podcast. You're always welcome to do it. But if we had a 2-3 hours to have a conversation where I can challenge her and she can challenge me on our ideologies and what we disagree about, well, I would eviscerate her. I would destroy her. No questions asked. But yeah. Or we can do it virtually. We can do it virtually. We can do it virtually.
Even be more. I mean, it would be nice if she came out. Maybe is she here?
I don't know where she's at.